Hello, Brain Fitness students. Today we're talking about the power of social connections. When we talk about brain health, certain things seem like no-brainers: staying physically active, eating a nutritious diet, engaging in hobbies like music and art. But did you know that one of the most powerful tools for keeping your brain sharp is socializing? Study after study confirms that maintaining strong social connections is essential for cognitive health. Why is socialization so important? Well, socialization is fundamental to human existence, shaping our brain development and our overall well-being. It's more than enjoyment. Socialization is critical for mental and physical health. From an evolutionary standpoint, our ancestors relied heavily on social bonds for survival tasks like hunting, gathering, and protection. Cooperation stimulated brain evolution, shaping neural networks specifically dedicated to social cognition and communication. Regular social interaction keeps the brain active, promoting critical thinking, emotional interpretation, and real-time decision making. This ongoing mental stimulation strengthens cognitive flexibility, sharpens memory, and supports emotional health. Isolation, in contrast, can be detrimental. Loneliness has repeatedly been associated with increased risk for depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, and even dementia. Chronic isolation can trigger sustained stress responses, elevating cortisol levels, which can then impair your memory and your learning. Humans are inherently social. Our brains developed through interaction, fostering language, memory, and higher order thinking. Socialization isn't merely enjoyable, it plays a crucial role in strengthening and protecting our brains, underscoring its vital role in a long, healthy, and vibrant life. Social connections can depend on multiple factors. These include structure, the number and variety of relationships and the frequency of those interactions. That would be seen in things like the size of your household, your circle of friends, and your closest encounters. Function, the degree to which these relationships serve various needs. Some relationships provide emotional support, others mentorship, and others may provide support when you're in a crisis. The third is quality, the positive and negative aspects of relationships and interactions. This would include the quality of your relationships, whether you experience relationship strain, and whether you tend to feel socially included or excluded. Socialization provides a wide variety of brain-boosting benefits. In the following slides, we'll discuss three of them: better cognitive function, better emotional regulation, and positive structural changes in the brain. Let's begin with socialization as a cognitive workout. With socialization, you have sharper thinking. Socializing is a cognitive workout. When you're engaged in conversations, debates, and discussions, you exercise multiple parts of the brain simultaneously. So some of the things that socialization does to make your brain sharper include boosting memory and recall. When you engage in conversations, you retrieve past experiences, recall names, and make connections between different pieces of information. This strengthens your memory pathways and helps improve long-term recall. Encouraging mental flexibility. Conversations require us to process new information, adapt our thinking, and respond appropriately. This enhances problem-solving skills and cognitive flexibility. Socializing strengthens our attention and focus. It requires active listening, staying engaged, and responding in real time. It helps train the brain to stay focused and process information efficiently. And enhancing verbal fluency and communication skills. Regular social interactions help improve your language skills, articulation, and the ability to express thoughts clearly. This is especially important as we age. Next, Communicating improves your emotional regulation. So the emotional regulation is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions in a way that promotes well-being and positive social interactions. It allows individuals to respond to emotional challenges in a balanced and constructive way. Socialization plays a key role in strengthening emotional regulation. Here's how. First of all, it increases your emotional awareness. So interacting with others helps us to recognize and understand our own emotions and those of others. This promotes self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Next, it builds resilience. Regular social engagement, especially when you're in positive environments, teach people how to navigate conflicts, setbacks, and stress more effectively. Socializing helps encourage healthy coping mechanisms. Supportive social relationships are an outlet for discussing emotions, reducing stress, and gaining perspective on challenges. And then finally, socialization boosts your mood and reduces anxiety. When you engage in conversations, laughter and shared experiences trigger the release of neurotransmitters like endorphins, dopamine, and oxytocin, which naturally elevate mood and lower stress levels. Then there are the structural changes in your brain that take place with socialization. So we've discussed brain plasticity in the past, the ability of the brain to reorganize itself by forming new connections throughout life. This adaptability allows the brain to recover from injury, adjust to new learning experiences, and respond to environmental changes, including social interactions. Socialization is a catalyst for neuroplasticity. When we engage in conversations, process emotions, and navigate social situations, our brain undergoes structural changes that enhance cognition and emotional functioning. And here's how. First of all, it strengthens the neural pathways. So social interactions stimulate activity within your neurons, reinforcing and expanding the connections between different brain regions. The more you engage socially, the stronger those pathways become, making cognitive processes like memory, decision-making, and problem-solving more efficient. Socialization also increases your gray matter volume. So studies using MRI scans indicate that individuals with active social lives often show greater gray matter density and brain regions associated with social cognition, emotional regulation, and executive functions. And while the association is robust, it's important to note that causality is still being explored. Socialization also enhances connectivity in the social brain network. Social engagement will boost communication between the amygdala, the anterior cingulate cortex, the insula, and the temporal pole. And these are all key areas responsible for interpreting emotions, recognizing social cues, and managing interpersonal relationships. And then finally, socialization stimulates neurotransmitter release. So meaningful interactions trigger the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin, which in case strengthen the social bonds, regulate your mood, and enhance motivation. These chemical messages contribute to a sense of well-being and help combat stress and depression. There are areas of the brain specifically related to socializing. In the next section, we will discuss those areas of the brain and how they work together to enhance your social experiences. The key structures of socialization can include areas such as the amygdala, which, as we've discussed in the past, plays a key role in processing emotions, particularly fear and anxiety, and is critical for rapidly identifying potential threats or dangers. It also helps us to interpret emotional expressions in social cues, enabling appropriate emotional and social responses. Next is the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for those higher order cognitive functions: decision-making, planning, impulse control, and emotional regulation. This area allows us to access social situations, behave appropriately, understand consequences, and manage interactions effectively. Next is the anterior cingulate cortex, also known as the ACC. This is important for monitoring our social interactions and emotional regulation. It also helps detect conflicts or errors in social situations, allowing us to understand misunderstandings, awkward interactions, or social mistakes. And it helps us to adjust our behavior accordingly. Then there is the insula, the brain region crucial for emotional awareness and introspection. It allows us to sense our internal emotional and bodily states. By helping us interpret bodily sensations associated with emotions, the insula contributes significantly to empathy, allowing us to feel and understand others' emotions. Then there is the temporal pole, a brain region crucial for processing complex social and emotional information, including recognizing familiar faces and voices, interpreting social and emotional contexts, and integrating memory with emotional experiences. And it plays a key role in understanding social identity and emotional memories. And then finally, there is the mirror neuron system. Now, current research is cautious about attributing complex emotions directly to the mirror neurons, as research has not supported that directly. But nevertheless, there is a network of neurons which are activated both when performing and observing actions. Theoretically, these neurons contribute to social learning and possibly empathy by helping individuals understand and imitate the actions of others. Okay, so we have spent some time learning about those different areas in the brain that are known as the social brain. So how do these regions work together in a social situation? Well, in the amygdala, it will quickly evaluate those emotional signals and assess the social environment. So it's going to help you determine whether or not these interactions are safe, friendly, or potentially threatening. It plays a key role in rapid emotional processing and threat detection. The prefrontal cortex will use those past experiences and the contextual knowledge and social norms to determine how best to respond in a given situation. It helps regulate your emotional responses. It manages impulsivity and ensures socially appropriate behavior. The mirror neuron system facilitates understanding and imitating others' actions by internally simulating their observed behaviors. So that's going to help us to empathize, recognize intentions, and learn new social behaviors through observation and imitation. And then the anterior cingulate cortex is your behavioral monitor, which continually evaluates your social interactions, detects any errors, and signals when adjustments in behavior are needed. So this will help when there are potentially misunderstandings and will help to ensure smooth social engagement. And then the insula, which supports your emotional self-awareness and empathy by processing internal bodily sensations triggered by social interactions. It helps us feel and respond emphatically to others' emotions, fostering meaningful connections. When interacting socially, these regions will work together as a coordinated social brain network and will integrate emotional processing, cognitive evaluation, imitation, and error correction to guide your behavior. When there are disruptions or imbalances in the network, such as impaired communication among regions, as in cases like autism spectrum disorder, which relates to difficulty interpreting social skills, schizophrenia with impaired emotional and social cognition, and social anxiety disorder disorder, which is a heightened perception of social threat and anxiety. So in this case, we do see that when there is disruption in the social brain network, we do see conditions that are related in our disability to have strong, healthy social relations. Well, how can we increase our social connections? Being socially connected is great for our health and well-being. We've already discussed that. So in the next couple of slides, we'll discuss interventions in the community and how those can improve connections according to research. And we'll also cover a few ways to strengthen your own connections. So there have been many types of research demonstrating the importance of social connection. A review of literature in aging and health research looked at a group of studies which investigated different interventions to encourage social connections among older adults. And they came up with 4 approaches that can be used to increase social connections. So that includes intergenerational, where you put younger and older generations together. And that was found to be successful in helping older adults find connections in the community and to enhance positive effects of life. So the participants reported improvements in their emotional well-being and their overall well-being. Residents within care facilities found improvements in both the quality and quantity of social connections. And the people participating reported social bonding, feelings of being valued, and a sense of belonging. So intergenerational is one intervention that has been shown to be beneficial to socialization. Next, age-friendly communities. So participants in an age-friendly community report a sense of community which includes frequent interaction and community coping with the challenges of aging. Participants felt more connected to their neighbors and reported stronger improvements in their emotional well-being with less stress. Now, there was a limited impact on feelings of loneliness, and this had no connection with depression. But the participants did feel stronger social connections through those social events, services, and the volunteers of the community. Researchers concluded that these age-friendly programs can indirectly promote social connections by creating opportunities of adults to engage. Next are community-based group physical activities. So many students here are taking part in group exercise classes. So in this study, they looked at people in group exercise programs and found that the program provided them with an outlet to socialize, to be actively involved with the community, to make friends, and to be with their peers. And they actually talked about one of the groups, which was called the Lively Lads, a men's exercise group. And they had some questions with them, and they found that as a rule, they preferred to be with individuals of the same age because they understand the aches and pains of an older person. So the researchers concluded that if you are participating in an exercise program, people tend to prefer ones that are gender sensitive, choice-based, and group-focused, and those were most effective in increasing social connectiveness to older adults in the community. And then there's technology. The internet is a source of social connection for many older adults. So in this review of literature, they found that older adults enjoy maintaining connections by sharing pictures, jokes, and stories with others. They're becoming more proficient in using digital media for texting, reading books, news, or connecting with friends. And overall, more older adults are using technology to connect, which can enhance social connections and increase social support. It can also be used, of course, to connect to family and friends, access information, feel connected to the outside world, and to express deep feelings. Technology is an alternative for those that are not able to have in-person connections and are useful when the older adult cannot get out. So 4 types of interactions found to improve social connections: intergenerational, age-friendly communities, community-based exercise programs, and technology. Are you feeling inspired to connect more? Well, according to our lesson, there's many different ways to enhance your social life. Here are some of them. You can join an exercise group. Physical activity with socializing. That's double the brain benefits. Many studies highlight the power of group exercise in improving both physical and mental well-being. Find a book club. So reading is great for your brain. In fact, we have a class coming up in the next several weeks which will talk about books and how they benefit your brain. But when you can actually discuss them with others, that's going to add a social dimension that boosts your cognitive function. Engage in your community. Local senior centers, faith groups, or volunteer organizations. These are all great ways to meet new people and stay engaged. Take a trip. There are many organizations that have short bus trips or day trips that offer us to go someplace with others, or maybe consider a longer trip. Great way to mix social interaction with new experiences, both of them which are very beneficial to your brain. Play games, board games, card nights, or even online game nights via Zoom can provide social stimulation and cognitive challenges. During the pandemic, my husband and I would play cards online via Zoom with several friends in different parts of the country. It was always fun to get together like that, and we never really felt isolated. And then finally, you might consider getting a dog. So the dogs not only provide companionship, but also encourage social interactions while you're out on walks. So these are some ways to remain social. Socialization is a key factor in keeping your brain sharp, active, and resilient. We've talked about cognitive benefits like improved memory and communication skills. We've talked about how it enhances emotions and creates positive structural changes in your brain. Whether joining a group, reconnecting with old friends, or simply making small talk with neighbors, every interaction strengthens your cognitive abilities. Challenge yourself this week. Find one new way to connect with others and give your brain the social workout it craves. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night. We'll include some activities which focus on socialization and discuss ways that we can become better at socialization. Thank you for listening.